Tara adjusted her helmet as the small shuttle slowly descended toward the surface of Virelia. The planet's greenish-blue sky stretched endlessly, filled with swirling clouds that glowed faintly from the distant sun. She had never seen a world like this before. Towering crystalline structures jutted out from the ground like frozen lightning. Rivers of shimmering liquid flowed in patterns that seemed almost deliberate. Tara was not afraid. Humans had explored dangerous planets before, but something about Virelia felt different. It was alive in a way that whispered secrets. She had heard the stories from the Interstellar Explorers Council. They spoke of the Xylar, the alien species that ruled this planet, and the mysterious child who had gone missing years ago. Many believed the child was gone forever. Others said the Xylar Queen would never forgive those responsible. Tara's mission was simple to outsiders. Observe the planet. Gather samples. Report back. But Tara had never been content with simple missions. She had a gut feeling that the missing child was still alive, and that finding the child could change everything between humans and Xylar. The shuttle touched, down on a flat plateau near a forest of luminous plants. The ground beneath her feet pulsed slightly, as if the planet itself was breathing. Tara stepped out, her boots sinking into the soft, almost sponge-like surface. She adjusted the straps of her pack and scanned the horizon. The forest was dense, filled with strange flora that glowed with gentle lights. Some plants swayed without wind, moving like they were watching her. Birds, or something like birds, with translucent wings, darted above. She had to be careful. Every sound echoed in the quiet air, and every shadow could hide a predator. Tara activated her scanner, a small device that hummed softly in her hand. The device could detect living beings within a certain radius. She was searching for Caro, the Xylar child. The child had survived against incredible odds, and Tara hoped her instincts were correct. Hours passed as she walked through the forest. She collected samples, examined the glowing trees, and noted the creatures that observed her from the shadows. She was careful not to disturb anything. Virelia felt sacred in a way she had never experienced on other planets. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest lights began to glow brighter. Tiny motes floated in the air, almost like fireflies, but larger and more radiant. Tara felt a shiver of excitement. She had been following small signs, subtle clues left in the patterns of broken branches and disturbed plants. She knew she was close. Suddenly, a faint rustle came from nearby. Tara froze. She held her breath and turned slowly. There, crouched behind a glowing bush, was a small figure. The creature looked human in some ways, but its skin shimmered faintly, and its eyes were larger than normal. Tara's heart leapt. "Caro!" she whispered gently, holding out her hands. The child's large eyes widened. He did not speak. He only shook slightly, unsure whether to trust her. Tara smiled softly. She knelt on one knee to appear smaller and less threatening. "It's okay. I'm not here to hurt you," she said. Her voice was calm, steady. "My name is Tara. I want to help you." Caro tilted his head, studying her. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath. Then slowly he stepped out from the bush. He was smaller than she expected, thin and fragile-looking, but there was a strange strength in his gaze. Tara felt a pang of empathy. The child had been alone for so long. She offered him some dried food from her pack. Caro sniffed it but did not take it. Tara realized words were useless. She needed to show him patience and trust. She sat quietly, letting the child decide what to do. Minutes passed, and finally Caro reached out and touched her hand lightly. Tara held still, letting him feel that she was safe. Suddenly, a distant sound echoed through the forest. A deep rhythmic thrum that made the ground tremble. Tara knew immediately what it was. The Xylar army was searching. They were closing in fast. Tara had only a few moments to decide. She stood and took Caro's hand gently. "We need to move," she whispered. Caro looked at her, hesitant, but the tremor in the ground grew stronger. Together they ran toward the denser part of the forest. Tara had memorized some escape routes from her scans, and she led them carefully, avoiding the glowing vines that could entangle them. The forest seemed alive, almost aware of their presence. Tara had to be careful. Every step could reveal them. Caro stayed close, following her movements, trusting her instincts. She was impressed by his resilience. The child had survived years alone in this strange world, and now he was learning to trust a human. Hours passed as they moved through the forest. Tara spoke softly, telling Caro stories of other planets she had visited, other humans she had met. She wanted him to understand that humans could be allies, not threats. The child listened, wide-eyed, occasionally asking questions in the Xylar language. Tara could not fully understand him, but she could sense his curiosity. As night fell, the forest glowed brighter, illuminating their path. Tara found a small cave hidden behind hanging vines. She led Caro inside. It was dry and safe, a temporary shelter from the dangers outside. She lit a small lamp that glowed with soft blue light and gave Caro some water. "You are safe here for now," she said. The child nodded, still wary but calmer. Tara looked at him and realized that finding Caro was only the beginning. Keeping him safe from the Xylar and their powerful queen would be far more difficult. Tara spent the night watching over Caro. She could hear the distant thrum of the Xylar army searching, their steps shaking the forest floor. She knew she had to act fast. She also knew that if she failed, Caro would be taken, and the chance to unite humans and Xylar through this child would be lost forever. Morning came, and the forest bathed in pale light. Tara packed her supplies and prepared to move again. Caro followed, now more willing, more trusting. Together they stepped out of the cave and into the forest, ready to face whatever dangers awaited. Tara felt a strange connection with the planet and the child. It was as if fate had brought them together. The journey ahead would be dangerous. The Xylar Queen would not give up her search easily, but Tara was determined. She had made a promise not just to Caro, but to herself. She would protect him no matter the cost. As they moved deeper into the forest, Tara glanced at the glowing sky and felt hope. The adventure was only beginning, and already she sensed that humans could achieve remarkable things. In a world filled with alien wonders and dangers, determination, courage, and compassion could be the most powerful weapons of all. Tara squeezed Caro's hand gently. The child looked up at her with a small smile. It was a simple gesture, but it carried a promise. They would survive. They would face the Xylar together, and maybe, just maybe, the lost child of the alien queen could help change the fate of two worlds. Tara and Caro moved carefully through the glowing forest. The early morning mist made the plants shimmer in soft blues and greens. Caro clutched Tara's hand tightly, still unsure of what lay ahead, but he felt safer with her. Tara's eyes scanned every movement, every shadow. She knew the Xylar army was searching. The child's safety depended on her vigilance. Tara had spent hours studying Virelia's landscapes from orbit before landing. She knew there were areas where wild creatures roamed freely, and other regions where the Xylar rarely traveled. The goal was to reach one of these hidden valleys where Caro could stay safe, while she searched for clues about his mother. The forest floor was uneven and strange. Some plants reacted to their presence, folding or recoiling as they passed. Others released soft glows, illuminating their path. Tara crouched to examine one, noticing a faint pattern on its surface. She recorded it in her scanner. Every detail mattered. She had learned long ago that survival often depended on noticing what others ignored. "Caro, do you remember anything about your home?" Tara asked gently, hoping to get more information about the missing child's origins. Caro looked down, tapping his small foot. He hesitated, then whispered in the Xylar language, I remember lights. Big lights in the sky, and the sound of my mother calling." Tara nodded. She could not understand every word, but the emotion was clear. Caro missed his mother terribly. Tara's heart ached. She wished she could offer more than just protection. The child needed hope. As they moved, Tara used her scanner to check for any nearby life forms. The device beeped softly, showing a trail of footprints slightly deeper in the soil. They were small, and Tara could tell immediately they were not Caro's. Someone or something had been here recently. She motioned for Caro to stay low. They crept forward, and soon a small clearing appeared. In the center was a stream of glowing water flowing steadily. Tara noticed something moving near the stream. A small group of creatures, larger than Caro but not hostile, drank from the water. They had translucent skin and long, delicate limbs. Tara held her breath. These were Virelia's wildlife, harmless but curious. Caro's eyes widened as he watched. Tara smiled gently, hoping the sight would calm him. "See, you are not alone here. Everything can be beautiful if we pay attention," she said. Caro nodded, his fear lessening with each step they took together. They rested briefly by the stream, filling their water bottles and sharing a small snack. Tara observed Caro carefully. She noticed his agility and alertness. Even after years alone, he had adapted well to the forest. Tara admired his resilience. Humans could survive in many environments, but Caro had learned skills that reminded her of the best human explorers she had ever met. After their break, they moved on. Tara had a plan. She wanted to reach the old ruins where she believed Caro's mother might have left clues for anyone brave enough to find the child. The ruins were rumored to hold records and artifacts that only a member of the royal Xylar family could understand. As they walked, Tara taught Caro simple human gestures to communicate more effectively. He mimicked her quickly, laughing softly when his hands moved awkwardly. Tara's heart lifted. The child was beginning to trust her completely, and that trust was essential. Suddenly, the scanner beeped rapidly. Tara froze. The reading showed movement approaching fast. She looked around and saw shadows moving between the glowing trees. The Xylar army had found their trail. Tara did not panic. Instead, she pulled Caro close and whispered, "We have to be smart. Follow me." They ducked into a dense thicket, careful not to make a sound. The Xylar soldiers were massive, their armor gleaming in the dim light. Tara noticed how coordinated they were, moving as one unit, scanning the forest for signs of the child. She felt a spark of determination. Humans were smaller, weaker physically, but Tara had something the Xylar did not: imagination and adaptability. Using her knowledge of the terrain, Tara led Caro along narrow paths that twisted around glowing plants and hidden cliffs. They climbed over fallen trees and crawled under low-hanging vines. The Xylar army followed the main trail, unaware of Tara's clever diversion. She smiled quietly. Sometimes being human meant thinking differently, not being stronger. After what felt like hours, they reached the ruins. The structures were ancient, carved from crystal and stone, partially buried in the forest floor. Tara ran her hands over the smooth surfaces, sensing a history that spanned centuries. Caro gazed around in awe. Even after years in hiding, he recognized symbols that belonged to his family. Tara explored carefully. She found a small chamber partially hidden behind a collapsed wall. Inside were tablets with glowing inscriptions. Tara could not read the Xylar language fully, but Caro stepped forward, touching the symbols. His eyes widened as he whispered softly, "My mother. She came here." Tara crouched beside him. "Can you tell me what she wrote?" she asked gently. Caro traced the symbols with his finger, and a series of simple gestures and sounds revealed a message. Tara listened carefully. The message spoke of hope, of reunion, and of a secret path that led to the Queen's palace. Tara's heart raced. They had found the clue she needed. The path was dangerous, filled with natural traps and hidden creatures, but it was the only way to bring Caro closer to his mother safely. Tara made a decision. They would follow the path at night when the forest was less active. As they prepared to move, a sound made them freeze. Small figures emerged from the shadows, Xylar scouts. Tara's mind raced. They were outnumbered, but she did not panic. Using a combination of stealth and clever tricks, she created small distractions, throwing glowing rocks in one direction and slipping silently in another. Caro followed her lead perfectly. Hours passed as they navigated the forest and avoided the scouts. Tara felt exhaustion creeping in, but she pushed forward. She could not afford to stop. The child's safety depended on her determination. Caro, despite his small size, remained alert and agile, following her instructions carefully. Tara was impressed. Humans and Xylar were different, but resilience and courage were universal. Finally, they reached a hidden valley. The area was safe for the night, surrounded by glowing cliffs and thick vegetation. Tara found a sheltered spot under a large luminescent tree. She set up a small camp and gave Caro food and water. "You did well today," she said softly. Caro looked at her with wide eyes, a small smile forming. It was the first real sign of relief and happiness he had shown in years. Tara felt a surge of hope. If they could survive the forest and avoid the Xylar army, they had a chance to reunite the child with his mother. As night fell, Tara kept watch. The valley was quiet, almost serene. The glowing plants bathed the area in soft light, creating a sense of calm. Tara allowed herself a brief moment to breathe. The path ahead was still long and dangerous, but for the first time, she felt that they were on the right track. Caro leaned against her shoulder, finally resting after a long day. Tara watched the stars above Virelia's glowing sky. The journey was far from over, but she felt certain that humans could achieve extraordinary things with determination and courage. Tomorrow, they would continue the search, moving closer to the hidden path leading to the Queen's palace. Tara's mind was already planning strategies, ways to avoid the Xylar soldiers and how to teach Caro more about the human way of thinking. Together they were stronger than any challenge the forest or the alien army could present. Tara squeezed Caro's hand gently, and the child smiled back. In that small, quiet moment, a bond formed that could not be broken. Tara knew that with courage, cleverness, and patience, even the most impossible missions could succeed. She felt ready to face whatever dangers awaited them in the search for the lost child's mother. Tara woke before dawn, her senses alert. The hidden valley was calm, but she knew the Xylar army would not stop searching. They were relentless and precise. Caro was still asleep, curled against her side. Tara studied the valley carefully. The cliffs surrounding them formed natural barriers, and the glowing plants gave faint light. This spot was safe for now, but only temporarily. She packed their supplies quietly, careful not to wake Caro. Every step required planning. The forest was alive and unpredictable, and the Xylar soldiers were trained to track even the smallest traces. Tara's mind worked quickly. She mapped a route using natural markers, twisted trees, glowing rocks, and streams that flowed in unusual patterns. Humans had a talent for observation, and Tara intended to use every skill she had. When Caro woke, he rubbed his eyes and looked at Tara. "Where are we going?" he asked in soft Xylar words. Tara smiled. "We follow the hidden path your mother left behind. It will take us closer to the palace." She knelt beside him and drew a simple map in the soil. The child studied it intently, nodding. Even without fully understanding the symbols, he trusted her. Trust was the strongest weapon they had against fear and danger. They set out just as the sun began to rise. The forest seemed brighter in the morning light, but Tara knew the Xylar army would use the same light to their advantage. She moved carefully, keeping Caro close. Every step had to be calculated. Hours passed as they climbed rocky hills and crossed shallow streams. Caro proved surprisingly agile, moving quickly and silently. Tara watched him closely, making sure he did not tire or take unnecessary risks. She was impressed by the child's instinct and ability to adapt. Even after years of isolation, he had learned to survive in this strange world. Suddenly, Tara's scanner beeped. She froze. The readings indicated movement ahead, multiple figures, large and armored. The Xylar army had caught up. Tara quickly crouched behind a cluster of glowing plants, pulling Caro down with her. The soldiers moved methodically, scanning the area, unaware of the hidden path Tara had planned. Tara whispered, "We have to be clever. Follow my lead." Using her knowledge of the terrain, she created small diversions. A thrown rock rolled down a slope, drawing a few soldiers away. Caro watched, learning how human strategy could use distraction instead of strength. They moved silently while the soldiers investigated the noise. Tara smiled quietly. Humans might be smaller, but intelligence and creativity were often stronger than brute force. They continued through a dense forest of tall, thin trees. The ground beneath their feet was soft and springy, muffling their steps. Tara pointed out small trails that the Xylar soldiers would not notice. Narrow tunnels under roots, vines that could be climbed, and paths that led over shallow streams invisible from above. Caro followed her instructions perfectly. The child's trust in her had grown steadily, and Tara felt a sense of pride. By midday, they reached a clearing with strange rock formations. The rocks were jagged but provided excellent cover. Tara paused to catch her breath and check the scanner. No immediate threats were nearby. Caro, panting slightly, looked up at her. "Are we close to the palace?" he asked. Tara shook her head. "Not yet, but we are on the right path. The clues your mother left show a trail that leads toward the heart of the forest. That is where the palace is hidden." She smiled reassuringly. "We just have to keep moving carefully." As they rested, Tara explained more about human thinking. She taught Caro to observe patterns, predict movements, and remain calm under pressure. The child absorbed everything eagerly. Tara realized that humans had an advantage in adaptability and strategy, which could help them survive against even the most disciplined army. They continued their journey through the afternoon. The forest changed gradually, becoming darker and more tangled. Glowing plants grew thicker, casting eerie shadows. Strange creatures peeked from behind trees, curious but not hostile. Tara remained vigilant. She knew that danger could come from any direction. Suddenly, the ground shook slightly beneath their feet. Tara's heart raced. She glanced ahead and saw dust rising, Xylar soldiers were moving faster, clearly aware that the child was near. Tara gripped Caro's hand. "Run!" she whispered. They sprinted through the forest using every skill Tara had taught him. They leaped over roots, slid under branches, and ducked behind glowing ferns. The Xylar soldiers followed, their heavy armor making noise that echoed through the trees. Tara stayed calm, focusing on the path she had memorized. Humans were not the strongest, but they were clever, and she intended to prove it. They reached a river, its waters glowing faintly in the dim light. Tara had noticed a fallen tree bridging the river earlier. She grabbed Caro and ran across carefully. The soldiers approached the riverbank but hesitated, unsure of the crossing. Tara had used the environment to her advantage again. On the other side, they found a narrow canyon. The path was tight, forcing them to move single file. Tara led the way and Caro followed closely. The soldiers. Tara and Caro had reached the outskirts of the alien capital. The crystalline city rose above the forest like a giant of light. Towering spires shimmered in colors that shifted with every movement of the sun, and bridges made of translucent materials connected the structures. From afar, it looked like a city made of living crystal. Tara felt a mix of awe and determination. This was the place where Caro's mother, Queen Vela, waited. Caro stayed close to her, his small hand gripping hers tightly. The closer they got, the more Caro hesitated. He looked at the shining city with wide eyes, fear and hope mingling in his expression. Tara knelt and spoke softly. "I know it is frightening, Caro, but we are almost there. Your mother is waiting and she will recognize you." The path into the city was heavily guarded. Xylar soldiers patrolled every bridge and entrance, their eyes sharp and alert. Tara studied their movements carefully. She had to find a way to get inside without being captured. Using shadows and small side paths between buildings, she led Caro quietly, keeping low and moving slowly. The patrols had powerful sensors, but they did not cover every small passage. Tara relied on her instincts and careful observation. As they moved closer, Caro began to remember fragments of his past. The hall with lights like fire. "My mother stood there," he whispered in the Xylar language. Tara encouraged him to continue, helping him speak slowly. Each detail was important. It would help her guide Caro through the city safely. They reached a hidden side entrance beneath a large crystalline bridge. Tara examined the area. Sensors blinked in faint patterns along the walls. She studied them carefully, noting when the lights blinked in sequence. "Timing was everything," she whispered to Caro. "We have to wait for the right moment. When the lights change, we move quickly." Minutes passed. Tara held Caro close, explaining each step to him. Caro's trust in her had grown so much that he followed every instruction without hesitation. Tara felt pride and responsibility at the same time. If they failed here, the chances of reunion would vanish. Finally, the lights shifted. Tara led Caro through the narrow passage. The walls hummed faintly as they moved, sensing their presence. Tara had learned from her scans that the building's crystals could detect movement, but careful steps and patience could allow someone to pass undetected. The tension was intense, but Tara's focus never wavered. They entered a smaller chamber that opened into a large hall. Tara and Caro froze. The hall was vast, filled with reflective surfaces that refracted light into brilliant patterns. At the far end, Queen Viola stood with her back straight, her glowing eyes scanning the room. Her armor shimmered, reflecting the light of the hall. Tara could feel the power radiating from her. She understood why the queen commanded respect and fear among the Xylar. Tara took a deep breath. She had to act carefully. "Caro, this is your moment." "Remember who you are," she whispered. The child nodded, gathering courage from her words. They stepped forward slowly. Caro's small feet echoed faintly against the crystalline floor. The queen turned, her eyes widening as she saw the child. Caro stepped ahead of Tara and spoke softly in the Xylar language, words filled with hope and recognition. Queen Viola's expression changed. Confusion, disbelief, and longing crossed her face. "Caro," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. The soldiers behind her stiffened, unsure of how to respond. Tara stood behind the child, allowing Caro to lead the interaction. She knew this moment was delicate. Any sudden move could make the queen hostile again. Caro's hands reached toward his mother. "Mother, it is me," he said clearly, his voice steady despite years of fear. Queen Vela's eyes filled with light, a sign of deep emotion among the Xylar. She stepped forward slowly, her hands reaching toward Caro. Tara watched as the queen hesitated, torn between duty and the emotions that had been buried for years. Tara realized she needed to help the queen see that Caro was not only her child, but also a symbol of hope. "Your Majesty," she said gently, stepping forward, "Caro has survived against all odds. He carries your strength and your heart. He wants to be with you, and he can help unite our peoples." The queen looked at Tara with a mix of surprise and caution. "You helped my child?" she asked, her voice a mixture of disbelief and curiosity. Tara nodded. "Yes, he trusted me, and I promised to keep him safe. I would not give up because he deserves a chance to return to you." Queen Vela studied Tara for a long moment. The hall was quiet except for the faint hum of the crystals. Then slowly the queen knelt slightly, her hands reaching fully for Caro. I did not believe it could happen," she said softly. Caro ran into her arms, holding her tightly. Tears of light streamed from her eyes, a sign of deep emotion among the Xylar. Tara watched silently, feeling relief and pride. The bond between mother and child was restored. The queen looked at Tara with respect. "Your courage, your persistence. It has shown me the value of trust beyond our own kind," she said. Her voice carried authority and gratitude at the same time. The soldiers relaxed, and the hall seemed to breathe with a sense of calm. Queen Vela embraced Caro fully, holding him close. Tara felt the weight of her mission lift slightly. She had succeeded in reuniting the child with his mother, but she also knew this moment was more than just personal. It was the beginning of something larger, a chance for humans and Xylar to understand each other. Tara stepped back, giving them space. She noticed the queen's eyes glancing at the human explorer, not with suspicion but with recognition of courage and heart. "You risked much to bring Caro here," Queen Vela said softly. "Few humans would show such determination. You have changed the way I see your people." Tara bowed her head slightly. "I only did what was right," she said. "Every life matters and every connection can make a difference." The queen nodded. "Then you shall be our guest." "Not as a stranger, but as an ally," she said. Tara felt honor and humility at the same time. This was unprecedented. A human being recognized and welcomed by the Xylar queen was a step toward peace that many had thought impossible. Caro stayed in his mother's embrace, whispering small words and gestures. Tara watched quietly, seeing the child she had protected for so long finally find safety and love. The queen's heart softened further as she saw the human who had made this reunion possible. Queen Vila spoke again, addressing the court. "This human has proven that courage, patience, and compassion can bridge worlds. Let it be known that trust can be earned and that fear need not rule us." The court murmured, and even the soldiers bowed in acknowledgement. Tara felt the weight of her actions ripple through the hall. For the first time, Tara allowed herself a small smile. The mission had been dangerous, filled with uncertainty and peril, but the result was worth every challenge. Caro was safe, his mother was reunited with him, and humans had gained respect from a powerful alien civilization. The queen released Caro from her embrace and looked at Tara directly. "Your persistence has given hope to both our worlds. You have done more than you know," she said. Tara nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She had followed her heart, and it had led to an extraordinary outcome. The hall's lights shifted gently, casting warm reflections across the crystalline surfaces. Tara felt a sense of peace she had not felt in years. She had proven that one person, even a single human, could make a difference when guided by determination and compassion. As the queen and child spoke privately, Tara stepped to the edge of the hall. She looked out at the city, the glowing spires reflecting the light of the setting sun. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity's courage had opened a door and the possibilities were limitless. Tara knew her journey was far from over. There would be new challenges, new missions, and new ways to connect worlds. But she had learned a powerful lesson. Even in the vastness of space, determination and care could create bonds stronger than fear or distance. Caro returned to Tara's side, smiling shyly. "Thank you," he said softly, in human words he had learned from her. Tara knelt and hugged him gently. "No, Caro, we did this together," she said. The bond they had formed was unbreakable, and it had brought hope to two civilizations. Queen Vela stepped forward, placing a hand on Tara's shoulder. "You are welcome here whenever you choose," she said. and we shall ensure that humans and Xylar may work together, for the future is brighter when we face it united. Tara felt her heart swell with pride. The impossible had been achieved. A human had earned the respect of an alien queen, reunited a lost child with his mother, and begun a new chapter for two worlds. As the hall glowed softly around them, Tara realized that courage, determination, and trust could truly change the course of history. And she knew that, together with Caro and the Queen, they had started a journey that would inspire generations to come. The air in the alien capital was alive with light. Crystalline spires reflected the soft glow of the setting sun, casting patterns across the streets below. Tara walked carefully beside Caro, who stayed close, his small hand gripping hers. The city no longer felt intimidating. Instead, it seemed full of possibility, alive with hope and potential. Queen Vela had summoned them to a quiet chamber in the heart of the palace. It was a place few outsiders had ever seen. Walls of translucent crystal rose high, capturing every flicker of light. The floor was smooth and polished, reflecting the figures within the room. Tara could feel the weight of history pressing gently around them. Caro stopped for a moment, looking at the Queen. "Mother, I want to stay with you," he said softly. His voice trembled slightly with the emotion of years spent apart. Queen Vela knelt before him, opening her arms. Caro ran into her embrace, and she held him tightly. Her glowing eyes shimmered with tears, a sign of deep emotion among the Xylar. Tara watched quietly, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. This was the moment she had worked toward for so long. The reunion was more than a personal victory. It was a symbol of what humans and Xylar could accomplish together. A single human had changed the fate of two worlds simply by refusing to give up. The Queen spoke, her voice soft but firm. "Caro, you are my child. You have shown strength and courage beyond your years. I am proud to hold you again." Caro hugged her tightly, burying his face in her shoulder. Tara felt tears sting her own eyes. The reunion was perfect, a moment of pure joy and relief. After a long moment, Queen Vela looked at Tara. "You have done more than anyone could imagine," she said. "You risked your life to protect my child. You showed bravery, compassion, and wisdom. For this you have my respect and gratitude." Tara shook her head, smiling humbly. "I only did what was right," she said. "Every child deserves safety, and every life deserves hope." The Queen nodded. "You have reminded us all that courage is not measured by size or strength, but by heart and determination," she said. Tara felt warmth spread through her chest. She had hoped to make a difference, and now she knew she had succeeded. Caro pulled back slightly from his mother and looked at Tara. "Will you stay?" he asked. "I want you to be here." Tara knelt beside him. "I will, Caro," she said softly. "But only if you want me to. I am here because of you, and I will always care for you." The child smiled, feeling comforted and safe. Queen Vela studied them, her expression thoughtful. "Perhaps this is the beginning of something greater," she said. "A human and Xylar working together to protect our worlds. You have opened a door that was long closed." Tara nodded. "We can learn from each other," she said. "Humans and Xylar can share knowledge, ideas, and hope. Together we can face challenges that would be impossible alone." The Queen's eyes glowed brighter, a sign of her approval. "Then it shall be so. Let this day mark a new chapter for our people," she declared. Soldiers and court members who had witnessed the reunion nodded quietly, understanding the importance of the moment. The atmosphere shifted from caution to hope, a subtle but powerful change. Tara and Caro spent the next hours exploring the palace with the Queen. She showed them rooms filled with holographic maps, ancient artifacts, and records of Xylar history. Caro's eyes widened with recognition. He touched the glowing symbols on the walls, whispering small memories of his past. Tara watched, fascinated by the connection between mother and child. In one chamber, the Queen paused and looked at Tara. "These records hold knowledge that has been guarded for centuries," she said. "You have earned the right to see them, to learn what we know." Tara felt honored. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I promise to use what I learn wisely." They walked through corridors filled with shimmering light, and Tara noticed how much the city had changed in her perception. What had once seemed alien and unwelcoming now felt alive and beautiful. The Xylar culture was complex and disciplined, but it was also capable of warmth, connection, and respect. Tara realized that humans and Xylar had more in common than they had thought. That evening, Queen Vela invited Tara and Caro to dine in the royal hall. The table was filled with foods that glowed softly, unfamiliar yet fragrant. Caro's excitement was clear as he tried new dishes, and Tara laughed at his enthusiasm. The queen joined them, observing the joy between human and child. "This meal celebrates more than a reunion," Queen Vela said. "It celebrates courage, trust, and the bond that can exist between different worlds." Tara nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. She had started this journey to protect a child, but it had become something far greater, a bridge between two civilizations. After the meal, they stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the city. The lights of the capital reflected in the rivers and crystal spires below. Tara felt a sense of peace she had never experienced before. The journey had been difficult, filled with uncertainty, danger, and fear, but it had also shown her the power of determination and heart. Caro leaned against Tara, whispering softly, "I am happy. I am with my mother, and you helped me." Tara hugged him gently. "Yes, Caro, we did this together, and now we can make the future better for everyone." Queen Vela watched them, her expression soft. "You have shown that one individual can change the world," she said. "Humans have courage, and that courage can inspire even the strongest among us. You have earned your place among us, Tara." Tara felt pride and humility at the same time. The queen's words were more than gratitude. They were a recognition of the value of human determination. Over the next few days, Tara helped Caro settle back into his life with the queen. They visited important places in the palace, met scholars, and learned about Xylar culture. Caro's confidence grew, and he began speaking more clearly to the queen, sharing stories of his time in the forest and with Tara. Queen Vela listened carefully, amazed at the child's resilience and spirit. Tara worked quietly in the background, helping the queen understand human ways of thinking, problem-solving, and seeing the world. The queen was a fast learner, and Tara realized that humans and Xylar could achieve great things together if they continued to cooperate. The bond between human, child, and queen was stronger than anyone could have imagined. One evening, Queen Vela called Tara to her private chamber. "You have done more than protect my child," she said. "You have changed my understanding of your people. You have shown me that determination, care, and courage can create bridges where none existed before. For this I thank you." Tara smiled, bowing slightly. "It was an honor, Your Majesty. I only did what I could to help." Caro ran in, holding a small crystal toy he had found in the palace. He handed it to Tara, his eyes sparkling. "For you," he said simply. Tara hugged him gently, feeling a warmth that went beyond words. This small gesture symbolized everything they had achieved together: the trust, the courage, and the bond that could never be broken. The next day, the queen held a ceremony in the main hall. The court gathered, and the citizens of the city were invited. Queen Vela spoke to them all. "Today marks a new chapter for our people and for humans," she declared. "We have seen courage and determination that transcends worlds. Let this day be remembered as a day of hope, unity, and cooperation." The hall echoed with quiet murmurs of agreement. Tara stood beside Caro and the queen, feeling the weight of what they had accomplished. Humans had not only reunited a family, but also earned the trust and respect of an entire alien civilization. It was a moment that would be remembered for generations. As the ceremony ended, Tara looked at Caro. "Are you ready for the future?" she asked. Caro nodded. "Yes, I want to learn and I want to help," he said. Tara smiled. Together they had shown that courage, compassion, and persistence could change the course of history. Queen Vela approached Tara and placed a hand on her shoulder. "You will always have a place here among us," she said. "Your bravery has made a difference, and it will inspire many." Tara nodded, feeling a sense of purpose stronger than ever. She had started this journey to protect one child, but the result had become the beginning of something far greater, a bridge between humans and Xylar. As the sun set over the crystal city, the sky filled with colors that shimmered and shifted like living light. Tara, Caro, and Queen Vela stood together, looking out over the horizon. The future was bright, filled with possibility and shaped by courage, trust, and determination. Humans had proven their strength in ways that mattered most through heart and action. Tara squeezed Caro's hand gently. The child smiled back, knowing that one human's refusal to give up had changed the fate of two worlds. And in that moment, surrounded by light and hope, The impossible felt possible.